Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make doodle letters. So we've all seen these really cute doodle letters. Sometimes they're blank, sometimes they're filled. They're all really cute and they're so popular right now. They're used in so many different designs. And today I want to show you how to make your own. And I don't mean how to purchase these blank files and fill them with colors or whatever. I mean literally how to make doodle letters. You will make your own letters, adding your own squiggles or stitch marks or extra things that you want to add. I will show you how to do it all completely from scratch. To do it, we're going to need a program called Inkscape. This is free. You just download it onto your computer. I'll leave a link below for where to go. When you open Inkscape, you're going to get a little screen that looks like this, and you'll just click New Document. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is type in whatever word you're wanting to use here. I just hit the plus sign on my computer to make this white section a little bit bigger here in Inkscape. So come over here to the text tool, click it, and then click on your screen. If you don't click your screen, you won't get a cursor. So click your text tool, click on your screen, and type in your word. Okay, so I have typed in the word doodle, and I like to use this font called Ask Why. What you want in a font is something that is kind of chunky. You definitely don't want a super skinny font. You want something that's a little bigger, a little chunky, that you can really work well with. Keep watching later on in this video and I'll show you where I got this font and how you can get this font or other fonts that are going to be similar to it that would be really great to make doodle letters with. Okay, so here's this font. I'm going to click my selector arrow to get out of the text tool because if I try to do anything else, I'm just adding more text and that's not what I want. So I have clicked my selector arrow to get out of the text tool. And now I'm going to kind of make this a little bit bigger. I first want to come up here and lock my screen so that everything stays in proportion. And I've just dragged, I've used the cursors or the handles here to drag my word and make it a little bit bigger. And I also want to make it just a little bit longer. Okay, so far so good. Now, in those doodle letters that I showed you, you'll see that they're usually hollow. And this is so that you can fill them with whatever you want to fill them with. This is not hollow. We need to make it that way. So what I want you to do is come up here and find this little pen, this little like paintbrush thing. This is your fill and stroke tool. If you click that, it will pull up this menu for you over here. I want you to click fill and then click this X. And it looks like it disappeared, but it didn't. It's still there. It's just we've taken the fill off. Now I want you to click stroke and paint and click the first solid box. And you see it now has the outline around it. So what we have done is we have turned off the fill. I click the X to turn it off. And we have added a stroke, which is an outline. Now you can change how thick this stroke is. Mine's already set to a thicker stroke. And the way I did that was by coming to stroke style. And you can click this plus arrow and it'll give you a really thick stroke. You can click the minus arrow and it will give you a much thinner stroke, or you can come in and type whatever kind of stroke you want. I typed 1.65 and I think that's just what we're going to go with for this video. All of this is preset for you. You don't need to mess with any of this stuff down here. Just come to fill, turn that off. Come to stroke and paint, click your first solid box to get a good stroke. Come to stroke style and just make it whatever size you want. I'm again going to stick with 1.65. Okay, so we've got the basics of our doodle letters going on. What we need to do now is add in the little swirls or the little stitch marks or whatever it is that you want to add. I don't even know what I like best. Leave a comment below and let me know if you like the swirls best or if you like the little stitch marks best. Okay, let's give this a little creativity. Right now it's just kind of a straight word and everything's all lined up and it's all just pretty. Let's kind of spice it up a little bit. Select your word. When you're on your selector tool up here in the corner, just click your word. And then I want you to come to Path and Object to Path. What this does for you is lets you separate out each letter individually now. So now instead of it being one word, each letter is its own path. And now we can just kind of put them where we want them. Say I want that O to be a little bit smaller. I'm going to bring it down here. And let's see. And I'm going to make this E a little bit smaller. And I'm going to kind of put it here beside the L. And then I want to tilt them. So I've clicked my word. I'm going to click it again. And I'll get some rotate handles. So I'm just going to come in and rotate these letters. Just kind of messing with it, making this a little more interesting and not so plain. Okay, this is what we're going to work with for now. And I want to spread the letters out some so that when I add my stitches or my swirls, they're not overlapping each other. And to spread them out, you can move them with your mouse or you can use the arrows on your keyboard just to kind of spread it out. And this is all just eyeballing it, seeing what you think you want it to be, what you think might look good. Okay, for the purposes of time, we're just going to go with this. I'm going to use my mouse to drag a box around everything, and I'm going to group it together. You can hit Control-G on your keyboard, Command-G if you're on a Mac, or you can come to Object and Group, and it will group all of that together for you. Okay, now I'm going to make this bigger so we can really see what's going on. And to do that, I have just clicked the plus sign on my keyboard, and that has made my whole screen bigger. All right, so one thing that's indicative of these doodle letters is that they have these fun outlines around them. You see how this has these little extra lines inside of it, and let's see if we can find another one. This one you can see, let me make that bigger. You can see has this whole little doodle around it. How to make doodle letters? You make doodles. Okay, so we're going to add those outlines now. What you want to do is double click your first letter and then duplicate it. To do that, you can either right click it and select duplicate, or you can hit Control-D on your keyboard. Now you won't see this duplicated letter. It's right there on top of the first one. Don't touch anything else. While you have this selected, let's come in and change that stroke. Let's make it a little bit skinnier. So over here, our fill and stroke menu is already pulled up. If not, you can just click it up here again. We want the stroke style. Now we've originally had it at 1.65. Let's put it at 0.65 and see what it does. It got smaller, but again, you can't see it because it's on top. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, and there, now you can see that's where it's coming in. If we want another one, do the same thing. Duplicate it and just kind of reposition it. Maybe this one wants to be rotated a little bit. And let's move that up some. So you just play with it and put it wherever you want it to be. And you'll follow the same process. Here's my O. I'm going to duplicate it, change my duplicated to a 0.65, make it a little bit bigger, duplicate again, maybe rotate this one. And I think that's where I'm going to stop on that. Get my other O. Duplicate, change my stroke, make it bigger, rotate it, duplicate that, just bring it down a little, continue on. I mean, same thing over and over again. Duplicate, change your stroke width. Whoa, 0.65. There we go. Make it bigger, rotate it, duplicate that, maybe just bring that one down a little. And I'm not really going for perfection right now. I'm just kind of trying to hurry this along so that you can see what to do and how to do it. But when you're doing this, take your time and make sure that everything looks really good, that it's just exactly how you want it to be. Okay, and just like that, we've got the outlines for our doodle letters. Now we need to make the stitch marks or the squiggles or whatever it is that we're going to make. Again, I don't know what I like best, so we're going to do both here. Let's start with stitch marks. If that's the look you're going for, I want you to come over here and grab this tool. It's called the Bezier Curve tool. So you click it, and now your menu up here is going to change. Every time you click a different tool, you get a different menu. Don't worry too much about all this stuff. I only want you to work with the tools I'm showing you today, and I'll tell you how they work. So to make our little stitches, we're on the Bezier tool. You want this first one selected. You want to create just regular Bezier paths, and you don't want any shape. Make sure that nothing here is selected. It needs to say none. And what you're going to do is with your mouse, you'll click, 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 wherever you think you want your little stitch marks to be. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. When you're done, you see how this is still pulling? It's waiting for another click. You have to come and click the arrow to tell it that you're done. Okay, now I know you're thinking, well, that's too skinny and it's too pointed and I don't like it. Let's fix it. Let's change our stroke. What do we want it to be? I think we want it to be 0.65. Okay, and now these join and caps, I want you to select the middle one for each. And what that has done is rounded out the ends of all of this. If I didn't do that, if I went back and had it the way it was, let me blow this up. I'm going to have straight lines here, and that's not really what we want. We want them rounded. So now they are smoothed off and rounded. So there's our first hatch. If we want to edit it any, you can click on it and then click this little tool. This is a nodes tool. And from here, you can move these hatches around wherever you want them to be. And when you're done, click your selector tool again. So let's say that's the first hatch we want to go with. And let's make another one over here. So grab the Bezier and click, 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 click. And when you're done, you hit the arrow. Okay, let's make that 0.65. Let's round it all out. And then let's edit it because it doesn't really look very good right now. Okay, so let's say that's what we wanted to go with there. That is crazy. Let's make that smaller. Okay, so from here you can just keep using these same hatches that you've already drawn. Select it, duplicating it by either right-clicking and duplicating or hitting Control-D. And then you just move it around wherever you want your hatches to be, or your stitch marks. And you can rotate them and make them look however you want. So that's what you're going to do if you want the stitches. If you want swirls, we're going to use a different tool. If you want swirls, you're going to come to your Calligraphy Pen Tool. Click it. Now it has a lot of settings and it can be really, really intimidating. Up here, select Dip Pen. This time we actually do want a preset, select dip pen. And then the width you're going to want to play with on your own. I'm going to take it down to a 3 right now and show you the difference. So here I am, and with my mouse I'm literally drawing squiggles. That's at a 3. Let me bump it up to a 6, and I'll draw another one. That's at a 6. I prefer the bigger one, so that's what I'm going to keep it at. Let me see, I'm going to draw squiggles here, and squiggles here, squiggles here, and then let me delete this first one. To get out of that tool, I have to click the selector. Click that, delete, and you just duplicate and move your doodles around wherever you want them. So those are the basic steps for creating your doodle letters. When you are done, say we've got everything the way we want it, we have our doodles or we have our stitch marks on everything, you will drag a box around your whole word. You will group it together. I'm going to hit Control-G, but you can also come up to Object and Group, and you're going to export it. So, File, Export. And it's going to pull up this menu here. There's some options. You can export the whole page, or you can just export your selection. For this, let's just do our selection. We don't need the whole page. So export selected area only. You don't need to mess with this. It's probably already selected. It doesn't really make a big difference. Decide where you want to save your file. Name it Doodle, and then hit export. And it is putting that wherever you told it to. For me, it went to my desktop. But right here, you can tell it wherever you want it to go. If you just click into this, you can tell it to put it on your desktop. You can tell it to put it in a folder. You can tell it to put it wherever you want. And you have then saved your doodle letters that you created all by yourself. You just learned how to make doodle letters from scratch. All right, now let's get to that font. Let me show you where I got it. I got the font from Creative FABRICA, and I'm going to leave a link below where you can get that font for the font that I used, or you can choose from thousands and thousands and thousands of other fonts, and if you use my link, you can get a membership for just $1 for your first month, and then it's $19 after that, which is still a great deal because you're going to get unlimited downloads of fonts. Okay, so when you click the link, you come to this page, and I know you're thinking, well, I can't see anything. I'm scrolling through here, and I'm not seeing any fonts. Like, this is not what I want. You can still get to the fonts. You do not have to jump right in and pay for this. Come click the Creative FABRICA button up here. And now you're in here with the fonts. So the font that I used was called Ask Why. I've just typed it in up there, and you can see it's this font right here. But if you want to pick a different font, what I want you to do is come to Fonts, and then I want you to select either Decorative Fonts or Display Fonts. The reason for that is those two subcategories are going to give you your bigger, thicker fonts. Let's go with Display to begin with. So you can see this one would be absolutely perfect because it already has the whole outline all around it. You've got retro fonts. You have got this Goody Shine third. That one would be great because, again, it already is the outline. You don't have to click out the fill in that one. Awesome Newbie. I mean, any of these are going to make really, really good doodle letters. So that's how you do it. And again, if you want to get that subscription, what my code is offering you is to get your first month for $1. And from there on out, it's $19 a month. But with this subscription, you can download unlimited fonts. Not only fonts, but we have graphics, crafts, needlework, classes. There's tons of classes on here that teach you how to do things. Let's just, for example, If I type in Halloween bundle, there's all of these different SVG sets that you could get, or sublimation designs, digital papers. And you don't have to pay anything after you've paid your subscription fee. So for your first month, you can get anything you want for $1. All right, guys, that's all I have this time. We'll see you next time.